Hey there, mighty math team. Okay, so today we're going to continue talking about our adding and subtracting with unlike denominators. When we went over it on Monday, I believe it was, I did mostly adding. So today I kind of want to do a refresher course with subtracting with unlike denominators. So it's the same process. You still need to find the least common multiple and turn them into fractions that are equivalent with the same denominator. So let's start with titling our page. Let's do subtracting. Oh, this is a thin. I just updated the software because you may remember when Mrs. Gardner broke my board. That was today. So I'm actually doing, you just left my class and I am now doing your screencast. And I had an update. So subtracting fractions, ooh, that's too big, with unlike denominators. I hope they have something in between. You know, sometimes doing an update is worse than what it is. Let's try that one. Okay, so let's start with our problem 4/5 minus 3/4. So we need to make these equivalent fractions that have the same denominator. So to do that, I need to figure out what my least common multiple is. Remember, let's just do 3, and if we need to go on from there, let's not do more work than we have to. We can. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, let's go up here. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, still don't have a common, so I got to keep going. So 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. So there is my least common multiple, so that is going to be my new denominator. So make that my denominator. Denominator. You may remember you divide and then multiply, divide, then multiply. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. So now 3/4 is equivalent to 15/20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Times 4 is 16. So my equivalent fraction is 16/20. Now I need to subtract. I had my minus sign up there, so I decided to bring it down a little bit so you could see it better. 16 minus 15 is 1. My total number of parts stays the same. So my answer is 1/20, and that's already in simplest terms. Okay, so same thing as adding, but now we're subtracting. So here's one for you to try. Why don't you try, uh-oh, we're frozen. So let's wait a second. So how is your day going? I hope you're having a good afternoon. Oh, and it looks like we're back up. So we have 5/8. Oh, that turned funny. 5/8 minus 2/3. So why don't you try that one and see what you get. Pause the video and then start it again when you're done. Okay, so let's see what our least common multiple is. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Well, I kind of already know that because I know my multiplication and division facts at 9, that's not going to work. So I am going to keep going. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. And then 3 times 4, or 8, is 24. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So there is my least common multiple. Now, if for some reason you miss the least common multiple and you just have a common multiple, it's okay. It just makes it harder to make it into simplest form. So just like when we did greatest common factors, if you didn't pick the greatest one, you just picked a factor when you were dividing to make a equivalent fraction. It works. It's just a little bit harder when you're working with those bigger numbers. So 24 is my new denominator. Divide, multiply, divide, multiply. 24 divided by 3 is 8, times 2 is 16. 24 divided by 8 is 3, times 5 is 15. Wait, I did that wrong. Okay, see, even teachers make mistakes because I don't know how to divide apparently. Let's try this. Wait. No, that was right. 24 divided by 3 is 8, right? 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so when I did my problem, I figured it out wrong on my paper. So this problem you can't do. So we're just going to swap it. So let's do 2/3 minus 5/8. I don't know why, for some reason I had put 10. I didn't know how to divide when I did the practice paper on mine. So now we already know that this is going to be 16/24 and this is 15/24. So it'll be 1/24. I did the same thing. So I'm sorry, I hope I didn't confuse you on that. So we're going to do a couple of more that I have right. Okay, so let's try this one. Okay, you try 3/5. Actually, let's do this one together, and then I'll give you one more to do on your own. Okay, 10 times 1 is 10. Well, that I already know 5 goes in 2, so I don't have to go any farther. I'm going to just do my 10s. And 10s are already in my denominator here, so I know 2 tenths is going to equal 2 tenths. So now here I'm going to divide and then multiply. 10 divided by 5 is, now I'm nervous that it's not going to be right. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. I have 4 tenths. Well, both those numbers are even, so I know I could put it in simplest form by dividing them both by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. We have 2/5. Okay? Now here's one for you to try. 2/3 minus 3/12. Okay? Okay, welcome back to your video. So, I'm going to go 12 times 1 is 12. And looking at that, I know 3 goes into 12. So I already know that 12 is going to be my least common multiple because it's my first number. And once again, 3/12 is going to equal 3/12. Now here, dividing. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Oops. And then 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. My denominator stays the same, and I have 5/12. Okay? So your key word is think. That's funny because I meant to say that earlier. So think is your keyword. We will continue working on this in class. Make sure you do your Google Forms so I know if you need extra support that we can work together on this in class. So I will see you tomorrow to continue adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Bye.